And last but not least, I invite Mr. Yron Sandan. He's the chairman of Sadan. Thank you. He's the chairman of the Israeli Publishers Association and managing director of Oved Publishers, which I assume is a publishing company here in Israel, to share some views from the publishing side.
Hello, good afternoon. I hope you're still survive this afternoon and another 15 minutes and we finish. The Israeli, and in fact I want to start just with a comment that I heard very interesting lectures here, and my feeling is that we know much less than that we think we know, and this is what I would refer to. I feel it in our real world, not in the academic world, that the business of all sides does not really know what is going to happen, and that is more or less what I'm going to tell you. And I want to concentrate on the Israeli market because we want to be practical in our situation here. I don't know how many foreigners and Israelis there are here, but I hope it will interest everybody. The Israeli and in fact also the European and the American publishers are extremely cautious, you might say hesitant, you might say ambivalent, you might say insecure when it comes to the digital world and to eBooks rights and handling. So are also the owners of the rights, of the digital rights and the general rights, authors and agents. We feel it when we face it when we visit the Frankfurt Book Fair or the London Book Fair. They don't really know how to handle it. Digital rights contracts are drawn for a very limited period because none of the sides wants to take long-term commitments in this rapidly changing business environment. So when we ask for digital rights along with the print rights, we get always an answer that let's see and let's wait and maybe we do it next year and maybe somebody else will take the rights and all this. But I want just for the foreigners to make some short preface about the understanding of the Israeli publishing scene and its preparations for the digital world. I think we have first to understand the psychology of the Israeli publisher, which is a very special psychology from our knowledge of the international scene. The Israeli publishers act in a print marketplace which is characterized by an extremely strong duopoly of two retail chains. One is Steinmatsky and the other is Safrim. You can call it the book crossroad or the book junction. That is a free translation of their name. Those two chains have a market share of 75 to 80% of the whole market, which is enormous. I don't think there is something similar in the whole world. The private shops almost disappeared completely. This duopoly acts actually more as a duopsony. I don't know if everybody knows, the economists know what it is, but a duopsony can be described as duopoly of buyers. The two members of this duopsony have great influence over the suppliers and can effectively lower their revenue, and so they do. This is exactly what happens in the Israeli book market. The two chains conduct a heavy, or would I rather say crazy, price war. Heli will agree with me that it's crazy. Of course it's crazy. They can conduct this price war only because of this special market structure and the enormous power they have and use towards the publishers. Their power enables them to buy books from the publishers for 20 to 30% of their retail price. Yes, you hear well, they get 70 to 80% reduction from the retail price. They sell brand new books for $4 to $5. We have this famous we have the famous deal here, 4 books for 100 shekels. It's crazy. On the 60th Independence Day, sorry? Yeah, wonderful, yes. Depends for whom. On the 60th anniversary of the Independence Day of Israel, they sold books for 60% reduction to the customer from their retail price. Thanks God we don't celebrate 100 years independence this year. But it's close to that. The publishers do not have much choice and sell the books for any price that the chains ask for. I think the word giving away is a better terminology than selling books for 70% reduction. This situation is important to understand because it influences the psychology of the Israeli publisher. As much as the international marketplace does not really know how to handle the situation, the Israeli publishers are even more careful, they are more suspicious, they are cautious about how to approach the e-book opportunities. They are extremely afraid that they will find themselves in a similar situation in the e-book market as they do in the print. They are afraid to become hostages of some huge, rich e-book distributors. The first one who penetrated the market, the e-book market in Israel, is the largest and almost only newspaper in Israel, Yediot Ahronot. They have an e-book. Sorry? Yeah, the largest. Yeah, sorry, Rachel. Not the best for sure, but the largest. Okay, it's an extremely strong newspaper, has extremely strong economic power. They started an e-book project, and I must say that many publishers, among them I think Shoken and we, are very, very careful and very, very don't give them easy life. Let's put it this way. They are careful, suspicious, and don't know really how to handle the situation. We don't want to be, the publishers don't want to be hostages, as I said, of the e-book suppliers or distributors like they are the print book distributors. On the other hand, the publishers could look and do look at the e-book emerging market as a real opportunity to get out of the present destructive duopoly situation, because it might create better competition in the retail market. What prospects can we then see in the new market? Traditionally, the publisher has been the link between the author and the retailer. The retailer, in its turn, has been the link between the publisher and the reader. This paradigm certainly might change now. The author can theoretically and practically skip the publisher and approach directly the retailer and the reader, and the publisher can skip the reader and approach the retailer and approach the reader. We cannot, and we don't want to skip. The publisher can skip the retailer and approach the reader directly. Actually, publishers are doing it already through the internet sales, which are in Israel very, very limited, I must say. All initiatives that e-book stores, internet bookstores are not successful. Some went bankrupt. It doesn't work in Israel, and this is quite understandable due to the high accessibility of the retail stores and the crazy prices we were talking about. So there is no reason to buy in the web when you get just go downstairs and buy the book for 15 shekel. There is this example that Niva gave. I forgot the name of this author who is making millions. Amanda Hawkins. So this is a paradigm shift. It is a change. On the other hand, there is exactly the opposite situation in France, where Wiley tried to make these. Wiley is a huge literary agency which try to approach authors directly and sell directly through the ebook distributors, and they were just simply thrown out of France. So it is certainly happening in the US. I don't know what will happen in Israel. I believe that this paradigm shift, at least in the short run in Israel, is theoretical still. I really don't want to say that I know what will happen in the long run, but short run it is theoretical in my opinion. But also it is important for us to remember that the role of the publisher has always been and will be in the future essential. The main role of the publisher is not the printing. The main role of the publisher is also not the distribution of the books. The main role of the publisher has always been, and I believe that it will continue to be, the selection of the one excellent title out of hundreds or thousands of manuscripts that he receives, and the creation of a real good book from this selected manuscript, which is in many cases raw material. And whoever is in publishing knows that what you get is not what you see at the end. It's a completely different product. For doing this job, the publisher always had to and will have to employ excellent editors, proofreaders, designers, as well as marketing and PR people. I also believe that the publishers will stay around also in the digital world, along with the printed world, and will not only become content supplier as some expect them to. Some argue that publishers' role will be unnecessary, since digital book distributors will offer the traditional publisher service as Amazon already are doing, to a certain extent, of course. Actually, this could have been the situation also in the old market. Why haven't the retailers done so in the past? What prevented them from doing this? After all, they are extremely strong in many marketplaces. We know of some examples in the Israeli market where retailers tried to become publishers and it was a complete flop. It didn't work. It is a different profession, simply. I simply think that turning a manuscript into a book is a profession which corporates need to focus on, just as being a distributor is a profession. I do not see any real reason for a digital book distributor to play this role if he wants to focus on what he is doing best, which is distribution. Yes, distributors might be able to increase their margins in that way, but they might lose the focus. And every business leader knows that focusing is one of the major keys for success. Yes, the distributors could develop these skills, but I believe that as a general rule, the publishers who will who will manage to maintain their relations with authors will do this job better also in the future. Authors have always had special relations with their publishers, especially with their editors. The publishers make them feel confident and secure professionally. In a way, the publisher is their professional home for the author, if he makes a good job, of course. I am doubtful that Amazon or any ebook distributor, especially if they will be very big, will be able to make a good job in this aspect. In a way, I'm not sure that there is a real new ball game in this market. I'm not sure. Instead of printing, the publishers will distribute digitally, but they will have to continue to select, translate, edit, proofread, design, package, market, and sell also in the future. The publishers will have to be, of course, more alert. They will have to be more flexible. They will have to be more talented in what they are doing. They will have to make sure that the authors feel safe and comfortable in their relations with their publishers. One thing we know for sure, the marketplace changes. We don't really know how fast the change in Israel will be. The US market changes much faster than the European. By the way, I just heard two different statistics about the US. One said 8% penetration. The other said if you count it in another way, it's 5% penetration. In Europe, it's still very limited, but it will change. This we are sure of. So will we behave, or the Israeli market act like the like the American market, like the European market? Even in Europe, it's not the same all over the place. So we don't really know. What are then the alternatives for the publisher, Israeli publisher, in this complicated situation? One alternative is we could wait and see how things develop and change. For example, the way that the income is split between the distributor, the publisher, and the author is changing all the time. And the contracts which were made 1 year ago are not the contracts which are made today anymore. It shifted for the benefit of the authors, thanks God. Waiting gives the publisher the flexibility to act right in the future, but the big risk is, of course, that he might miss the train. Second alternative is to agree with potential distributors, is the other extreme in a way. Agree with potential distributors now on the terms and let them lead now. And many approach us and tell us, we know how to act in the digital market. We have done it in music. We have done it in the technological world. Let us lead you in this world. This is a possibility. Many potential distributors are chasing the publishers and the authors, offering them a bright and promising future in the digital world. This in spite of the fact that nobody really knows how things will look and how fast things will change. Nobody really knows if and when the digital market will have a significant market share in the Israeli publishing scene. Nobody really knows if jumping into on the first wagon is the right thing to do. The third alternative I see, and actually I believe in, and it is after considering all the other alternatives and after changing my mind and my colleagues' minds for many times during the last year especially. The third alternative is to take the initiative, which I just read lately that 3 big American publishers who have more financial resources to do so have done. The Israeli publishers have financial difficulties to take initiatives in this market, but I think we should do. I believe that potential that in this market is a potential that we can exploit by ourselves if we will take the initiative. I believe that if we publishers will join forces with strategic partners who have strong marketing potential in the technological world, in the future digital world, new opportunities will open for us and we will have the ability to influence the future scene instead of being led by other market leaders. Strategic partners, I would like to say, is not necessarily the one we expect to be it will be less. Not necessarily the players that we would expect to play in this market, not necessarily Amazon twin in Israel, but could be other types of companies who have especially technological and marketing possibilities. Cell phone companies are one possibility. I think in this situation we will play the role we are best in. We will select, translate, edit, proofread, design, package and market. Instead of going to the printers, we will upload the books and the customer will download the books. This is clearly the way in which I believe that we should act. We should lead and not be led. We must not be only the content supplier of strong distributors. There is no rush. We should not take the first opportunity offered to us, but the one we believe is the right one. We have to take the initiative, otherwise somebody else will decide for us. Thank you very much.